Welcome back to another edition of the Prepper Recon Podcast. Our mission is to bring you great interviews with preppers from around the world so you can be better informed and better prepared for everything from a hurricane to the end of the world as we know it. Hey preppers and patriots, I've had several encouraging emails over the past year concerning the sound quality of the show. I told everyone a few months back that if you'd shop at Amazon through Prepper Recon, that I'd use the proceeds to upgrade the studio. You guys came through on your end, and I've bought a lot of new equipment. Of course, there's going to be a learning curve, but I hope you'll be noticing the improvements over the coming weeks. Thanks again for all of your support. The U.S. government has a bad track record of trampling rights after natural and man-made disasters. We had warrantless house-to-house searches after the Boston Marathon, gun confiscation after Katrina, and the police state has continued to grow under the Patriot Act since 9/11. How will the U.S. government treat us after the coming economic collapse? Finca Bayano is now offering sustainable farmlands in Panama. If you decide to bug out, do it in a community with like-minded preppers in Finca Bayano, Panama. Check them out online today at fincabayano.com. Our individual first aid kits are now on sale. They're Molly-compatible pouches in Coyote, ACU, OD, or Black. They're equipped with an Israeli battle dressing, quick clot, TK4 tourniquet, suture kit, and lots of extras. It's perfect for your car, bug-out bag, or home first aid kit. Go to the PrepperRecon.com homepage and click on the IFAC store tab at the top of the page. They're on sale for $89, and that includes shipping. This kit could save your life. Today's guest is my good friend and organizer of the Life Changes Be Ready Prepper Expo, Cindy Thompson. Cindy and her husband Jim are also organizing the upcoming Summer of Survival series of webinars. Cindy, thanks for coming back on the show.
Oh, Mark, thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's always a pleasure to have you on. Now, it's been way too long since you've been on the show. What's new with Life Changes Be Ready?
Well, Mark, there's been a lot of changes, especially since our November 2013 Expo. We've launched our LCBR, or Life Changes Be Ready Self-Reliance Academy. And then our newest project, if you want to call it that, or educational event, is Summer of Survival. And we're really excited about that and looking forward to that. And so we're working hard on that to make sure that we deliver educational content.
And for our new listeners, can you tell us how you got into prepping and then into preparedness education and expos?
Sure. You know, I always kind of back up several years to tell people that Jim and I were actively involved in the real estate market here in Florida. And we did short sales. Everybody knows most people know what short sales are today, but back at the time, not many people knew what short sales were. Well, my role in our business was to negotiate the deals with the banks on the short sales. And I began to realize just right before the market really took a dive here in Florida that things weren't the same. You know, I had a system. I had relationships with various lending institutions that I could work these deals through, and something drastically changed. And it was at that time that Jim and I just dove in and kind of looked at things and started analyzing what might be going on. And this is before the first bailout. And in doing so, we realized, wow, you know, there's some really big changes coming our way, mainly from an economical standpoint. And so what that did to us was we kind of, that was kind of a spark plug, if you would, to kind of jumpstart our preps. You know, we always call Y2K our training ground. But like a lot of people, we just kind of let that lay low for many years, got caught up in our businesses or, you know, raising our family. Well, it was seeing this change in the banking industry from what I call kind of the grassroots level, just in our little area here in Florida, that really we took a hard look at, you know, we need to get our preps ramped up again. And so we did. Well, in doing that, I found at the time not many people carried many of the products that I knew were the premium products. And so I sought out to not only find them for myself, but also find them for other people. And that led to, believe it or not, doing our first, if you want to call it a seminar, not really an expo, where we had Mike Maloney of goldsilver.com as our guest speaker. We had Skyped him in. It was kind of the old-fashioned way of doing some of this. And great group, great seminar. Well, it just kind of went from there. And so, long story short, it was October 2012. We were invited to participate in a little rural community prep event in Seminole County, Florida. And we were amazed at the eagerness of people to learn. And this was a small event, like probably a 2,000 square foot, little room. But it was packed. We didn't stop talking all day. And I told my husband, I was like, wow, I think people are ready for our message. And really, our preparedness expo kind of grew out of that. We had our first one in 2013 in January, and then followed up with the second one in November. And it's really, my background, number one, is in putting some real estate conferences together too. So I had that background, but it was really encouraging to me at both of those expos to see how much people wanted to learn. And we literally, I literally watched couples outside the speaking rooms going, okay, you go over here and I'll go over here and we'll take notes and we'll compare later. They didn't want to miss a thing. And so that's really what got us started in the preparedness expo, if you want to call it, business side of it. So.
And the LCBR Expo last November was absolutely fantastic. But for folks outside of Florida, it would have been a long drive. Is that part of the reason you decided to produce an online expo?
It is. Actually, out of that expo, there was a journalist there who wrote an article for Fortune magazine, which was then picked up by the Drudge Report. And that article just went, obviously nationwide. And we started getting calls and emails from all over the country asking us to bring our expo to, any given locale. So we stepped back from that. We looked at a couple different areas and considered going into different areas, but we felt like, the way that we can get our message out there better is let's do an online format. We're always about the educational content, and I see myself as a facilitator. I'm not an expert in any one area, preparedness, but I know who the experts are, and I know the ones that can deliver that, who love teaching and will, give the people the education that they need. So.
And then can you tell us who some of those folks are going to be?
Oh, absolutely. We have, for Summer Survival, they're all on summersurvival.com. And we have an incredible lineup. We just, I guess I can go through a good number of them if we have the time.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have Rick Austin. I'm going to go ahead and give their title real quick, too. And again, this is all on our website, summersurvival.com, along with their photos and a more extensive bio than I'm going to take the time to do here. But Rick Austin is going to be speaking on Secret Garden of Survival, how to grow a camouflage food forest. Peter Carroll is somebody kind of new to the industry, if you will. He's going to speak on You Are the Medic. And then David Christopher has been one of our speakers at each of our expos, a great supporter of LCBR, and he is teaching or speaking on emergency herbal medicine storage. And then we have Steve Combs. He's new to our expo, and he's speaking on the Christian principles of preparedness. Richard Duarte was with us in November, and he's written a book, and he's speaking on urban survival. Are you prepared? I have to mention some of those other ones have written books too. But and then we have Dr. Kirk Elliot, aka America's Financial Doctor. I met Kirk at another event in Florida, asked him to come to our November expo, and he did. So he's a great supporter now of LCBR. He's speaking on lessons from history, the fall of Rome and America today. Then we have Mark Goodwin of Prepper Recon, who was an exhibitor. That's where we first met, if you remember, Mark.
Yes, it was.
At our November expo, have become friends, and you are speaking on the 7-step survival plan.
Yes.
So we're excited about that. And then we have Robert Henry. Robert has been with us with both of our expos, and he's speaking on a topic that I haven't really seen done a whole lot, and I think it's really needed, is the realities of barter after a large-scale disaster. So we're looking forward to that. Robert is a longtime prepper and can speak on just about anything, but we've asked him to speak on bartering. Charlie Hogwood, another Floridian who has been with us for both of our expos. He's speaking on MAGs, the people part of prepping. Then we have Survivor Jane. She's well known out in the industry. She's speaking on back to the basics. What are the essential basic preparedness needs and how to fulfill them? Jane is actually leading off our event on June 3rd. So, then we have David Kobler, aka Southern Prepper 1 on YouTube. David was with us in our November expo. That was, he did a phenomenal job there. He's, again, like Robert, doing a topic I haven't really seen a whole lot out there, if ever, for David, and it's fire protection now and in a worst case situation. So looking forward to that. And then we have Dr. Cynthia Kobler. She's well known out there on Survival Blog and some other areas where she writes Armageddon Medicine. Her title is Treating Infection on Your Own, What You Can and Cannot Treat Successfully. Then we have Scott Moore. He was a newcomer to our November expo and did an excellent job there. He's speaking on, does archery have a place in preparedness / survival scenario? So we're looking forward to that. He's bringing an element, again, that I don't see done too much. But then we have Joe Nobody, and he is speaking on 10 ways to secure your bug out location. And following him, well, not really following him, the schedule's up online, but we have Melissa Norris. She's new to our event too. She's speaking on home food preservation made easy. And then we have Jacob Schmidt. He's new to our event too, speaking on ham radios, but his actual title is Comms Up, Communication Plan for Your Family, Group, and Community. Then another newcomer to our event is Joel Skousen. He's probably a name a lot of your listeners are familiar with. Joel is doing World Affairs Briefing, What are the Real Threats? And just as a little promo there, he's also going to give us a bonus webinar on his strategic relocation aspects. And then we have Mark Springer. He's a newcomer too to our events, and his title is Too Many Choices. Learn the right approach to water, sanitation, hygiene, and food preparedness. Then we have Dr. Prepper, James Talmadge Stevens. I call him the grandfather of prep. He's just this nicest guy, been always, even though he's never been to our event, he's totally supportive of what we were doing, and he is speaking on preparedness rules of 3. Then we have Glen Tate speaking on how to form a prepper team. A newcomer probably to the industry a little bit, Travis Wack, is Leadership for Preppers, Restoring Order after a catastrophic event or crisis, I guess is what it is. And then Marjorie Wildcraft will be joining us. She was at our November expo, and we really enjoyed her presentation, and her topic for this event is how to produce half your own food in your backyard in less than a half an hour. And then we just added Donna Miller from Miller's Grain House, and her topic is TBD, but we'll have that up on our website as soon as we have it.
Wow, so it's just a great variety of presenters and a great variety of topics. They're pretty much covering just about everything. I think David Kobler's, I think that's going to be a great thing, because a lot of us, we're preparing for the end of the world, but a lot of folks don't even have a fire extinguisher in their house. So
right.
Sometimes we miss the easy stuff, fretting over the big stuff, and we miss the things that actually happen every day. And I think Jacob Schmidt, I think that's going to be something that a lot of us, it's just, communications it just can be scary, because there's so much to getting into ham radios and even shortwave radios and single sideband and all that kind of stuff. If you're not well versed in it, it's a little overwhelming, sort of like prepping altogether. But I listen to him a lot, and he's got a really, really great message and a really great way of presenting all of that. So I'm looking forward to all of that. Now, why did you choose the people that you selected?
Well, number one, I like to say, again, that we're about educational content. So I always look for my speakers, and I'm pretty honest I am honest up front and telling them, we don't want infomercials. Many of them have books and products, and that's great. We'll support them. But what we want for our expos and for this event is really teaching. People are hungry for knowledge, and our mission, LCBR's mission, is to awaken individuals, families, and communities to the need to prepare. And then the second part of that is the way that we would do that is through education and training. And so I seek out speakers who will indeed, meet that educational level that we want. Not to say that there aren't tons of other people out there. I did the two areas that you just mentioned with David, and the fires, and then Jacob Schmidt on the ham radio communication. Those were two specific areas that I wanted covered. I hadn't had them covered in our live events, and so I sought out people who could speak directly on that topic. So there's a few that I sought out because of their knowledge on a given area that I felt was really important to get out there, whether it had been done before or not, but that we wanted to put that content out there. So really that's it. Just sought out people that I know who would teach.
And Cindy, the summer of survival is literally the entire summer. It begins at the beginning of June and goes until late August. Now, what nights of the week will they be, and what time will it start?
Our webinars, and you're right, it's all summer long, from June 3rd to August 21st, every Tuesday and Thursday night. And they both, well, let me back up and say we just changed the time. The Tuesday webinar will start at 8 o'clock, and then the Thursday webinar will start at 9 o'clock. And the reason we did that is to try and support the West Coast a bit better too. So it's every Tuesday and Thursday night from June 3rd to August 21st with a new speaker every night. We do have that schedule up on our website of summersurvival.com.
And that's Tuesday at 8 Eastern and Thursday at 9 Eastern.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
And then that'll just flow right through all the time zones. So that'd be 7 Central and, and 6 Mountain and 5 Pacific for Tuesday night.
Yep. And then an hour later on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. And when does sign up begin?
Well, it's already started. So anybody listening, I encourage you to go over to summersurvival.com and we have a Claim My Spot Now button, pretty bold there. Just go ahead and click that, and it's really simple. It's just a matter of entering your first name and your email address, click register me, and you're registered for every webinar at that point, all summer long. So you don't need to register for each individual webinar. So once you register, that's it. And the only thing we'll do is we'll send you email reminders or maybe little tidbits on each of the speakers as they're about to come up in the schedule.
And then you write a blog over at lifechangesbeready.com. in your last Cindy's Corner, you covered rising food costs. Now, Janet Yellen thinks that inflation's too low. Do you think she does her own grocery shopping?
I doubt it. But if she does, I bet she prints her money before she heads out. How about that? No, I am just amazed when I hit the grocery store. Fortunately, I don't have to go too often, but when I do, Mark, I'm just shocked. I guess I'm one person who kind of walks through the grocery store for the shock factor, and I just can't, I never thought we'd see the day where we're paying. Well, if you're couponing like your wife, you're not paying it, but, $5 for a tube of toothpaste or $5 for a box of cereal. And I really, I don't know how some people do it without couponing or without watching the prices. And I want to share something that happened recently. We don't, I probably have eaten fast food maybe once in the last 2 years, and I'm serious about that. Well, we were out late one night, and Jim wanted, we were on our way home, and Jim wanted a snack, so we drove into McDonald's, and I didn't even really know what the prices of the apple pies were, but I guess there were two for $1. He said they were that for a long time. I don't know, but so anyway, he hands $1 to the woman. She goes, "Well, no, it's $1.30. And so Jim, did what most would do. Oh, okay. And just fumbles in our little console thing with the change there. And when he was done, he's very aware of what's going on. So I'm not painting this to say that he's not aware, but I said, that's what most people don't realize, that, they reach in their console and get a couple more coins for the price increase. But that was a 30% price increase, 30%. And, when you look at things in that light, when you go through the grocery store and don't think, oh, well, okay, it's another 25%, look at the percentage that price has gone up, and it'll blow your mind. Now we've got, I think I even wrote the article right when the prices of beef and all were starting to escalate, but wow, it's incredible. So no, I don't think Janet does her own shopping, or like I said, if she does, she prints her money and then heads out to it. So.
And besides the price increases, you have to look at the weight of the items you're buying too, because coffee used to be a pound, and then it went down to 14 ounces, and now it's 12 ounces. And ice cream used to be a half gallon, and now it's a quart and a half, and some even smaller. And
yep. There is an element out there that they don't even look at that. I have some in my family. They really, if you ask them the price of bananas, they couldn't tell you. I don't have that mindset. I'm always looking and, comparing and then like working the percentages in my head. But Jim even pointed out the other day, a bar of soap. Well, it looks nice. It's shaped nice and it's got this curvature to it, but it's skinnier and it's shaped like that because they've decreased the weight of it. The volume of it, basically. So, yes, and I'm an ice cream person, and it's gone down from, a half to 3/4 of a gallon to, I don't even know what it is right now. We make our own, so.
Very good. And coupon. And
yes.
like you mentioned, my wife she's just a spectacular couponer, and she keeps up our coupon corner on Prepper Recon. So folks that are listening through Stitcher, iTunes, or YouTube, head on over to prepperrecon.com and click on the coupon corner, and she's just got a lot of great sites on there that will, because people think it's a lot of hard work, but she's put together all of these sites that basically plan out all your scenarios for you and do all your matchups for you and tell you which stores have the sales and where you can get the manufacturer coupon for that, and you can usually stack the store coupon on top of the manufacturer coupon, and she brings home free stuff almost every day. I'm not kidding. It's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is coupon queen. I will say that.
She is. And she's got it down to a science.
Yep.
Now, a local Fox affiliate did a recent segment on Morgan County, Indiana's new MRAP. The police sergeant stated they needed this type of vehicle because of the knowledge that returning veterans have. Does that bother you that the folks who have served our country are now seen as a threat?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's another aspect that you might not think of that bothers me that I think of when I see things like that in the news. I guess it was several years ago now. I checked out a book from our library called Hitler's Willing Executioner. That's what it was. I think it was by Daniel Goldhagen, I believe. And it was a hard read for me, and to be honest, I didn't really finish the whole book, but I skimmed it to get the gist of what he was saying. And basically, he was recounting how ordinary Germans, because they had lived in a society that had infiltrated their minds with, basically Jewish hatred, that those people then started living that out and started carrying out, the Holocaust basically for Hitler. And so when I see stuff like what you just mentioned, what bothers me at a deep level too are the American police officers or whomever it may be, kind of following that same pattern, where they're being I don't want to say indoctrinated, but in a sense led down that route to look at certain target groups within their own country as terrorists or threats or whatever. And that bothers me. And I'm not a psychologist. I don't understand the psychology of, the human mind. And I know there are studies out there and there's things like that to show that, but it really bothers me at a deep level. And I think that's what they're doing. They're kind of building a domestic army, but using the same tactics that were used in Germany.
Yeah, that's true. But I guess we really shouldn't be surprised because we all remember the 2009 DHS memo that classified certain people as a threat. That list included people with long-term food storage, veterans, pro-lifers, people who pay in cash, and people who vote for third-party candidates.
You and I are there, right?
Yeah, I guess I'd be ashamed of myself if I wasn't on that list.
Same here. I guess I'm on there. And, people always tell me when I'm talking about our expo or whatever, well, you're on a list. Okay, I am. But along that line is that we feel a real calling to do what we're doing. And so I'm willing to step out. And if it puts my name on a list, my heart is to wake up as many people as we can to the situation around us, whether it's the government, whether it's just the government and the economy or a natural disaster. But our goal is to lead people down the path of a self-reliant lifestyle. So if that puts my name on a list, so be it.
Now, you and Jim worked in the real estate industry for several years, as you mentioned before. What's your instinct tell you about the market? Is it in another bubble? Could prices go higher before it pops?
That's a hard question. Jim and I have sat on the sidelines now for several years, not knowing. We've looked at a couple deals. They haven't happened. For whatever reason, a door was shut or something fell through. And do I think it's a bubble? Would I call it a bubble? I'm not sure I would call it a bubble right now. Let me just say our personal thing is we feel like it's an asset that we don't want to be in right now, that it's become a tremendously debt backed asset, and there are other asset categories that we would rather put our time and effort and funds into. But do I think it'll go higher? I think they will. Is it based on a sound system? In my opinion, no. So.
And what else is on your radar right now?
Well, Mark, probably the biggest thing for me is just to get our own house in order. We've been working hard on a number of aspects. Number one, reducing our own debt and striving to be debt-free. We feel like, and I've written about that in the blog too, where that should be near the top of everybody's list when they're trying to become self-reliant. And so we've been actively doing that, selling off extraneous stuff in our lives, whether, just stuff around the house, or we still have some real estate that we would like to get rid of. So there's a lot that we're doing in that regard. So number one is getting our own house in order, and then number two is really trying to get the word out. We feel like the time is short for people to get prepared. Just as a side note, Jim, I don't know how many times Jim has read Larry Burkett's book, The Illuminati, and he's reading it again, and I've read it several times too, but he had it open and he had it laying down, and I just happened to glance down at it, and on the back cover, I just noticed this the other day, Larry Burkett had the book was in the year of 2015. Now Larry wrote it, because I flipped to the front to see, Larry wrote it in 1991. And we've often said, Jim and I have always felt that Larry Burkett was prophetic in his own way in writing through his fiction. And I looked at that and I thought, I'm not going to predict that 2015 everything's going to collapse, but I thought that was interesting that he set this book in, the year 2015. So we do feel like time is short. Do we know the time? No. Is there any harm in getting yourself prepared? Absolutely not, in my opinion. To me, it's a simpler, more frugal way of life. And so that's what we're striving to do.
Very good. So folks can go to summerofsurvival.com and sign up now for the free webinars. Will the webinars be available after they air live?
They will be. What we are doing is we are collecting all 24 of these webinars, and we're going to call it, or it's actually up on our website, the Summer Survival 2014 Complete Collection. We know people can't, make it to every webinar. It is summertime. People are in different time zones. Some work different hours and that kind of thing. So we're aware of that. What we are doing, though, is we're collecting them all in a members-only area where you can access them at any time, download them at any time. We'll have audio, we'll have the video, and we'll also have the transcript of it for those that like to read or want a hard copy as a prepper. And let me just say, too, that these are truly webinars. These are not interviews of the experts. We're letting the experts give their talk just like we would at a live event, where they have an hour or more to get their information across. Some of them are using PowerPoint, some are using videos, whatever their mode is, that they have all the time that they want to get their message or their content across. And then we are having live question and answers, and those will be in the recorded aspect too. So you can benefit from the questions that others might have.
And then can you just recap on when the webinars are going to be available, what times, nights,
Yes.
etc.?
Yep. They're all summer long, June 3rd through August 21st. So that's every Tuesday and Thursday evening. Tuesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Thursdays at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. And they'll be running for about an hour and a half, because we are going to have that question and answer session at the end. And all the information can be found on summerofsurvival.com. We have the schedule up there. We have the speakers' bios. We have, contact us if you had any questions about anything. And so just go to summersurvival.com.
And where do folks go if they want to sign up for your free LCBR newsletter?
You can go to lifechangesbeready.com. And on the home page there, we have a subscribe now. There's actually a tab that says subscribe, and you can subscribe there, and you'll be, Mark, we don't send out emails every day or anything like that. Just as events come up, like Summer Survival, or if we've written a new blog post or one of our speakers and it is going to be in the area someplace, we like to make that announcement so people can go out and see them. So that's lifechangesbeready.com.
And make sure you tell Jim I said hi, and tell him we can't wait to get him back on the show. Cindy, thanks so much for all you do in the way of preparedness education. And thanks again for coming back on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. Love it every time.
Whether your plan is to bug out or bug in, CampingSurvival.com has all of your preparedness needs, including fish antibiotics, long-term storage food, water filters, bug-out bags, and first aid kits. Use coupon code Prepper Recon for 5% off your entire order at CampingSurvival.com. Hey Preppers and Patriots, American Meltdown, the long-awaited sequel to American Exit Strategy, is now available in Kindle and paperback. In American Meltdown, Book 2 of the Economic Collapse Chronicles, the new president, Anthony Howe, signs an executive order banning all semi-automatic weapons. Matt, Adam, and Wesley Bear begin training with their local militia for the battle that is coming. Within weeks of the inauguration, the $700 trillion derivatives bubble pops when rates on U.S. debt skyrocket. The derivatives crisis is the final nail in the coffin of the banking system and the death of the fiat currency system in America. With the dollar gone, commerce comes to a screeching halt. While times prove to be tough for all, survival favors the prepared. Get your Kindle or paperback copy of American Meltdown, Book 2 of the Economic Collapse Chronicles on Amazon today.